Promoting the growth of the tabletop sports hobby, this is Imagisport.
Another wild card chart. So again, we're going to go to the hardcore wild card chart here to see what's going to happen. And it's going to be a 36. Is Lobsterman powerful? He is. He stuffs the opponent underneath the ring and then sets fire to it. And he gets 2 points. And he's going to follow up with the 300-pound lobster tail drop. 11 to 44 is going to get it done. It's a 43. 1, 2, 3. That is it. And Lobsterman survives. And he has still your world heavyweight champion as he tries to set Z on fire. What's going over Lobsterman? These past few shows, he's been coming unglued. The crowd doesn't know what to make of it. They're starting to throw some boos towards Lobsterman's way for the way he won. But can you blame him? I mean, but anyway, that is it. You know, Lobsterman is your world heavyweight champion.
Imagisport presents Old School Wrestling, featuring the stars of the Old School Wrestling Association. All OSWA matches are simulated with Face to the Mat from PLAAY Games. You can order Face to the Mat and various wrestler card sets from the PLAAY Classic website at www.playclassic.com. Now, let's go to the OSWA studios.
Hello and welcome once again to Old School Wrestling here on Imagisport. I'm Derek Jones. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. We have a great show planned for you today. Croc Wilson will be making his second television title defense, and he will be putting that strap on the line against one of Yefeni El Akid's Foreign Destruction members, that being Chief Wahoo. And you'll know that Yefeni El Akid will be in his corner for that match. So again, that's going to be later on today. Also on the program, we have not one but 2 mystery matches to give you. As mentioned last week at the end of the show, Hank McFee has issued an open challenge. He wants to go further up the rankings, and the only way he feels he can do that is to call anyone out from the OSWA roster. So we'll see how that pans out later on today. And then in our main event, as you recall from the Ringside Lounge and other events from our last show, the man called Z wants the commissioner in the ring, but the commissioner said, not so fast. You have to defeat a man of my choosing. And this may be someone either inside or outside of the organization. He did not tip his hand one way or the other there. We will find out later on who Z's opponent is going to be. But one thing's for sure, if Z can pick up the victory, then he will get a match somewhere down the line with the commissioner one-on-one in the ring. And also, today on the Ringside Lounge, our special guest is none other than the World Heavyweight Champion, the Lobsterman, Jeff Costa. You saw in our opener today the tail end of the 4-way elimination match on our last show where the Lobsterman was able to retain his world championship. And we'll see later on what he has to say about it and what are the plans going forward for the Lobsterman. But we're going to kick things off with some tag team action for you. Yefeni El Akid's newest recruits, the Deep End and Bing Chun Yi, are headed to the ring. So let's go there right now and see them in action. And our opening contest today on Old School Wrestling is a tag team match, and it is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, already in the ring, from Seattle, Washington, weighing in at 215 pounds, this is Tread Whitewall. And his tag team partner hails from Fife, Alabama, 220 pounds. This is Fast Bobby Bernard. And their opponents are representing Foreign Destruction, and they are accompanied to the ring by Yefeni El Akid. Introducing first, from Bangalore, India, weighing in at 480 pounds,
Sanjay Sharmadeep, the Deep End. And his tag team partner hails from Beijing, China, 7 foot 4 inches tall, 600 pounds. This is Bing Chun Yi. Yefeni Alakit's Foreign Destruction team of Bing Chun Yi in the Deep End to make their debut here on Old School Wrestling. And we are going to go to Highlight Reel R for the pre-match. So here we go to 44 and we go to Highlight Reel S. So already with a lot of controversy in 44, if the face wins the match, face gains the heel gimmick, increase the face's TV grade 1 letter grade, and reduce the heel's TV grade, plus the heel must find a new gimmick. Well, that's going to be a pretty tall order considering that the faces in this match are these two unlucky souls right here. But be that as it may, that is the stipulation. Yefeni Alakit is at ringside. He is also considered the ally in the hot box for the favored team. The ref has set his instructions, and we're calling for the bell. And here we go with this week's edition of Old School Wrestling. And we go to the specialty move for the favored team from the Deep End. It's the high dive backbreaker kick for 3 points. Are we going to get a tag? Oh, yeah, the big man's coming in. Bing Chun Yi is going to come in with a close to 400-pound weight advantage over Tread Whitewall. And he's going to do his specialty, which is the ice scraper boot scrape, for another 3 points. Oh, Lordy. And then he's going to tag out now to the Deep End. Great teamwork here from these two big men in the early going. And we're going to go to the wild card chart right off the bat. So already things getting a little crazy here. So here we go. Wild card result for a tag team match. And the roll is a 55. Is the Deep End smart? He is. So he baits an opponent into making the strategic blunder for another point. And so the underdog team still has yet to do a point. But they're going to score one now as Tread Whitewall escapes and makes the hot tag to Fast Bobby Bernard, who quite understandably is a little bit hesitant to lock up in there with the Deep End. Neither wrestler has the cheat quality, and neither one has the favorite. Neither wrestler scored on the last fact action card, so we're going to put the boo rule into effect here, and so the Foreign Destruction team are going to get 4 more points, and we'll see if there is another tag, and there will be. So the Deep End tags in Bing Chun Yi as he hovers over a dazed, fast Bobby Bernard. Neither one is a favorite. Again, neither one is a favorite. Is Bing Chun Yi powerful? He is, but only on a circle, but it doesn't matter. Fast Bobby's not powerful either. So we're going to have another boo roll here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to take Bing Chun Yi right to his finisher, the Page 52 Hammerlock Body Slam, 11 to 52, and it's a 35. 1, 2, 3. That is it. And in very, very, very convincing fashion, the Deep End and Bing Chun Yi win their debut match here on Old School Wrestling. Let's see what the post-match is going to bring us, and it's going to take us to Highlight Reel X. And the highlight reel roll here is a 25. The defeated wrestler angered during TV interview after interruption by opponent increased the grudge grade 2 points. So Fast Bobby is hurting for sure after it, and so is Tread Whitewall. So both of them are going to get their grudge grades increased here. So Fast Bobby is going to go from a 2 to a 4, and Tread Whitewall goes from a -4 to a -2. And just as we thought would happen, the Foreign Destruction team of Bing Chun Yi and the Deep End make a huge statement in their debut match here on Old School Wrestling. We'll be back with more Old School Wrestling action right after this timeout.
And what an impressive victory by the Foreign Destruction team of the Deep End and Bing Chun Yi. They are indeed a force to be reckoned with in the tag team division here in the OSWA. Before we get to some more action, just want to let you know that this edition of Old School Wrestling is brought to you by PLAAY Games, the maker of Face to the Mat, which is the official game engine of the Old School Wrestling Association. So we're going to go there right now to the PLAAY Classic website, where, as always, Face to the Mat is available for sale. And the latest set that's out is the 2021 Wrestling America Federation. However, they are in the process of trying to get a new set for 2023. And whenever that is available, of course, you will hear announcements in the usual places for that. But there are stars for every era here, for 90s, 80s, 70s, whatever era of wrestling you're a fan of. Face to the Mat can have a card set for you. Now, of course, they are fictional wrestlers, but they are based off of real life wrestlers. And of course, that's due to licensing and all that. But one thing that came out in the past few months is this Commissioner's Edict deck. And that is actually something that you can get for free on the PLAAY Classic website. Let me switch tabs here to kind of give you a little bit of an idea what this deck is. Now, granted, in my federation, I like to have creative control over my fed to some degree. So I kind of determine, you know, who's in and who's out. And yes, I do let the dice make some of my decisions, but as you've seen in some videos, I do tend to override them. But if you want a way to randomize who leaves your federation and who comes in, this can be a great way to do so. And as you can see, these are various cards. And so some of the cards can say something like, hey, you're doing a great job. Other cards can say, hey, you better win in the next show or else you're gone. So again, and there are several cards in this deck and they do different things. And so there are some instructions that go with the top of it as well. So again, you can use them to your discretion to, if you wanted to make a roster shakeup in your particular federation. And again, that's on the Face to the Mat, and that's over here in the free stuff section underneath Face to the Mat. You can get it right here and download it and use it for your own federation. Once again, that is Face to the Mat from PLAAY Games, and the site to get it from is the PLAAY Classic website at playclassic.com. That is 2 A's in the word play. So now let's get back to some action. Hank McFee is headed to the ring with his open challenge. Who is his opponent going to be? We will find out momentarily. Let's go to the ring.
Our next bout here on Old School Wrestling is scheduled for one fall. It is an open challenge match. Introducing first, making his way to the ring from Dixon, Tennessee, weighing in at 260 pounds. This is Honky Tonk Hank McFee. Okay, so Hank McFee, as you recall, has issued an open challenge to anybody on the OSWA roster. So who is going to come out to answer this challenge today? That music sounds awfully familiar. We've heard rumblings since he got released from the WAF. And here he is. He's got his fire extinguisher. He has a microphone. Let's hear what he has to say. Well. Now, let me get this straight here. You're saying that you would take on anyone on the OSWA roster, am I right? That's what I thought. Well, considering that I just signed my OSWA contract this morning, I guess that makes me just about anybody. So, Hank McFee, your opponent tonight hails from Green Bay, Wisconsin, Mr. Henderson. So, Mr. Henderson makes his debut answering the open challenge. And we're going to go to highlight reel O for this. and it's going to be a 21. And a celebrity is going to heap praise on Mr. Henderson. And it's going to be none other than our boy Ray Bob Walker, who loves Mr. Henderson's work throughout the tabletop wrestling industry. So Ray Bob and Mr. Henderson exchange high fives. And we're just about ready to go here. So Mr. Henderson against Hammer and Hank McFee, and here we go. And it's going to be an object, and Mr. Henderson, Hank McFee goes for his fiddle. Mr. Henderson knocks out of the hand, and he hits him with his fire extinguisher, and we're off and running here in this matchup. And Mr. Henderson's specialty, the move, spinning roundhouse kick, is going to be for 3 more points. And then we're going to have the cheat quality. Mr. Henderson does have the cheat quality. And so he's going to get 3 more points for a loaded boot. And heavy, neither one is heavy. Grudge, it's going to go to Hank McFee on Grudge, 2 for a shoulder throw. And then Agile, Hank McFee is trailing in Agile, so he's going to get 2 more for a flying mat slam. TV grade, that's going to go to Mr. Henderson, but no points as he does his flapjack. Test of strength. Are they both strong or powerful? Hank's strong on a circle. Mr. is strong anywhere. So yes, so basically, here we go. We're going to roll a dice here. And so Hank McFee is going to get the first point out of this. And then the next point is going to go to Mr. Henderson. And that's going to tumble them both outside of the ring. So here we go in an 8. The leading wrestler pummels Hank McFee onto the announcer's table for 2 points. And we still remain outside of the ring at this point for a 9. The trailing wrestler options to deliver payback blows or return to the ring. He's going to get some payback himself. He's going to get 5 points for it. So Hank McFee is doing pretty well here in this match. We're still outside the ring, though. Ref sends the action back into the ring, however. So finally regaining some control here, and then we move on. Neither one has helped in this situation. Let's see. It's Hank McFee scored the last amount of points, but he has not helped. So we're going to take it over to powerful. Henderson's not powerful, so we're just going to flip anyway. Favorite category, neither one is favorite. Quick, that's going to go to Mr. Henderson, and he's going to get a single point for a knee clip. And so the specialty, that's going to go to the trailer, Hank McFee, his fiddle sticker, hip toss and reverse for 2. And we have ourselves our first pin attempt of this match, 11-43, since it's on chip 51. That is a count of 1, and Mr. Henderson kicks out at 2. But he does have a chip on him. And now we're going to go to Grudge, and that's Hank McFee again, 2 more points. And now look at this. We're going to have a pin attempt here. He needs 11-16. So McFee, there's 1. There is 2, and he hooks the tights, and there's 3. Hank McFee with the upset over Mr. Henderson. Came out to a lot of fanfare, had his way early, but Hank McFee with a pull of the tights at the end, and he winds up with the victory here. And let's go to Highlight Reel X for the post-match in this one. Wow, what an upset here on Old School Wrestling, and it's a 21. And so we're going to have another celebrity come out here with Hank McFee, and that is going to be somebody else in the music industry. Bella Thorne is going to heap praise on Hank McFee, and Hank's kind of digging it. So he is going to get 2 grudge grades removed from his rating, so it's going to take it down to a 4. Interesting alliance there between Bella Thorne and Hank McFee for sure. But Hank McFee is your winner, but don't you think we've heard the last of this between these 2 athletes. We're going to get set up for the Ringside Lounge and then be right back. You're watching Old School Wrestling right here on Imagisport. And welcome once again to the Ringside Lounge here on Old School Wrestling. And your host, as always, is Lucky Lou Cool. And our roll was done off camera, and it was a 51. And so it's going to be a wrestler with a match scheduled in the near future. And we're going to bring out the World Heavyweight Champion Lobster Man, who has signed to defend his title at OSWA Uprising. We don't know who the opponent is going to be yet. Maybe it might be made a little clearer here on this segment. Let's go to the chart. 31, it's a surprise guest, and Ally, the guest makes an appearance, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? We're going to do commissioner discretion here, because guess who is back from his COVID protocol? That's right, it is none other than Steve America. And as you recall, at the tail end of OSWA Revenge, Steve America answered the challenge from Lobster Man, saying he would take him on in a grudge match challenge for the title. Lobster Man said, bring him on. Steve America, though, couldn't be at the show last time because of COVID. So now he's back. He wants that grudge match, and of course Lobster Man accepts the challenge. They almost come to blows, but thankfully security is in to break it up before we get too much action here. So looks like we have our main event for OSWA Uprising. It's going to be the Lobster Man, and it's going to be Steve America. We're going to have any special stipulations? No, it's just going to be a regular OSWA title match, but those two are going to hook it up on our Uprising main event. That's it for this edition of the Ringside Lounge. Now let's go back to the ring for more wrestling action. You're watching Old School Wrestling right here on Magisport. Our next bout here on Old School Wrestling is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the OSWA Television Championship. Introducing first the challenger, representing Foreign Destruction and accompanied to the ring by Yefene Alaki. From Tuba City, Arizona, weighing in at 245 pounds, this is Chief Wahoo. And his opponent hails from New Iberia, Louisiana, weighing in at 275 pounds. He is the current reigning and defending OSWA Television Champion. This is Croc Wilson. All right, so Croc Wilson to defend against Chief Wahoo. And for the pre-match, we are going to go to Highlight Reel R. And we have a 41. The heel, distracted by a jeering crowd, doesn't hear the bell to start the match. Face unloads an anticipated body slam and scores a point. So basically, Croc Wilson turns the tables on Wahoo here. We're about ready here. Alkeed's going to the outside, and the ref is going to we're calling for the bell, and this television title match is underway. So it's for the belt, and we go to the specialty, but Wahoo's trailing, so he's going to get the specialty, the On the Warpath Power Surge, for 2 points. Actually, he scores 5 points if he's trailing. So he's actually up to the first square now. How about that? So here we go. Grudge, that is going to go to Croc Wilson with his higher grudge grade, so he's going to get 2 points for a hair pull slam. And is he strong? You bet he is. So that's another point for a headbutt. And is he quick? He is also quick, so 2 points for a flying head scissors, and that takes us outside of the ring. So let's get our out of the ring action chart going here in this television title match, but let's see. Ref sends action back to the ring, but they ignore it because there have been no out-of-the-ring points even scored yet. So we're going to have a 10. The leading wrestler smashes his opponent with a steel chair for 1 point. So Croc Wilson widens his lead here. And then the leading wrestler slams the opponent onto the concrete floor for another 2 points. Croc Wilson going here. The leading wrestler bashes his opponent into the barricade for a point. And a 4. The trailing wrestler options to deliver payback blows or follows the ref's directive. Wahoo, he needs to get back in this match, and he does. 5 points right here. So they're on even terms, and they're still battling outside of the ring. The ref desperately going to that. Let's see. Nobody's trailing here. They're just going to go back in the ring at this point. So here we go, back in the ring between Wilson and Wahoo. We're looking at favorite. That is going to be Croc Wilson. He's going to get 2 points for a knee breaker, and we have our first pin attempt, 11-43, since it's on the chip. And Chief Wahoo kicks out at 1. So here we go. Grudge again. That's going to be Croc Wilson. 3 points there. Sets him up for the finisher after that running power slam. Here's the Jaws of Death headlock. 11-44. He clamps it on there, and Wahoo has no choice but to tap out, and Croc Wilson is your winner by submission. And Yevgeny Alakid tried to come in to help, but it was just too little, too late. Let's go to the post-match here, and we're going to go to Highlight Reel X to see what happens in this sequence. Highlight Reel X, here we go. And it's going to be a 35. The Hotbox Ally, the winning wrestler, makes funny comments on a TV shot and reduces the Allies' grudge grade by 1 point. So basically what's going to happen here is Yevgeny Alakid is trying to attack Croc Wilson from behind, but here comes Sergeant Slash to fight off Yevgeny Alakid, and then Slash makes fun of the way Alakid's dressed or something. That kind of lightens the mood a little bit. So Croc Wilson's grudge grade is going to go down from a 9 to an 8. But your winner, and still OSWA television champion, is Croc Wilson. And we'll return with more OSWA action right after this timeout.
And Croc Wilson with another successful television title defense today here on Old School Wrestling with a win over Chief Wahoo. Before we get to our main event, just wanted to give you some updates concerning our next super card, which is OSWA Uprising, which is episode 21 in the Old School Wrestling series. So we are approaching it bit by bit here. Main event has been signed for that, as you saw earlier in the Ringside Lounge when Steve America made his return appearance back in the OSWA studios to confront the Lobster Man. The challenge that he laid out at the end of OSWA Revenge is going to come to fruition at Uprising. It's going to be Lobster Man defending the OSWA World title against Steve America, and that is our main event for Uprising. And another match that has been signed is going to be a concept that has not been displayed before. It is going to be called Gift or Gone. And the way that this match is going to work, 10 wrestlers are going to be involved in it. And the object of the match is to grab one of 4 envelopes. There will be an envelope placed on a pole on each corner of the ring. So the wrestlers have to grab one of the 4. And then in 3 of those 4 envelopes is going to be a contract for a title match for either the world title, the television title, or the tag team titles. The other envelope will have a termination notice. So somebody from the group of 10 that is involved in that match will eventually be fired from the OSWA. It's the ultimate risk versus reward, Gift or Gone. We're going to have some qualifying matches for Gift or Gone coming up in the next few shows, and then that match itself will take place at Uprising. So now it's time for our main event. The man called Z and his mystery opponent, handpicked by the commissioner. Remember, if Z wins, he will get his match with the commissioner. Let's head to the ring for our main event.
Our main event today on Old School Wrestling is a special grudge match challenge with TV grades on the line. Introducing first, heading to the ring at this time from El Centro, California, weighing in at 255 pounds, this is the man called Z. And to introduce Z's opponent, the commissioner is coming out here. And remember, if you recall last week, the commissioner said that Z had to beat his handpicked guy in order to get a match with him later on down the line here. So let's see what the commissioner has to say. Z, I hope you had a long time to think about this, because now the end is near. Now you have to actually face the music and face my man. Now, granted, there were several people I could have picked that would have loved to have torn you apart. But one person in particular, one that owes me a favor, and one that I think will be able to get the job done. So without further ado, your opponent. He is from Gillette, Wyoming. He stands 6'8". He weighs 515 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, Z, I introduce you to the end of your career. This is Vic Losum. Oh my word. The massive, mean Vic Losum has appeared in the Old School Wrestling Association. And it looks like he's going to be doing the dirty work of the commissioner here. We're going to go to Highlight Reel O for our pre-match. It's going to be a 43. And not only that, but with Vic Losum, Del from Hell Bianchi, our roller derby bad boy, he's going to call Z some names as well, saying that he does not have a chance against Vic Losum. How ludicrous that is. But all that's going to do is just make Z more mad. And his grudge grade is going to get upped from 1 to 2. So Dell's extorted back to his seat. The commissioner is at ringside for this match, and you know he's going to be in Vic Losum corner. So we call for the bell. Our main event is underway, and we're looking for agile. Neither wrestler is agile to start. And we're looking for mean. They're both mean. It's going to go to Losum, who's the favorite today. 3 points for an atomic drop. But there's a comeback surge from the man called Z, and he gets 4 points for that. So now he has the lead on the match track. And the specialty, though, is going to go to Vic Losum. First one was just for fun body blows. It's a 2d6 roll here. 5 big points. And that's going to take us, you guessed it, outside of the ring. So here we go. And it's 2. Ref sends it back to the ring, but those 2 aren't listening to him because there's no out of the ring points scored yet. So we're going to go to a 6 where the leading wrestler smacks Z onto the side of the ring. So there is 1 point right there. And we move on. And it's going to be a 12. The leading wrestler, Vic Losum, takes Z. He splashes of him right on the announcer's table. And it is an immediate pin attempt. But he is a double A, so he needs 11 to 36 to kick out. And he does. Oh, my goodness. Wow. So he smashes it into the announcer's table. And the ref, at this point, he's just going to order them back into the ring here. But Z is really dazed at this point, but he's going to start to come back here because he has a better grudge grade. And so he's going to do a stomp flurry on Vic Losum. But neither one is agile here. And we're going to go to mean. They're both mean. Z is trailing. And he's going to get a double stomp. And they're going to go out of the ring again. So, boy, this has been a Donnybrook so far here in our main event. And so the leading wrestler gets him back. There is no really announce table. We just pound him on scraps here. But since Losum is leading, he's going to get the 2 points for that. And we're going to roll one more time. And we're going to get another 8. And so 2 more points for Losum. He's going to put him back into the ring and cover Z once again. But this time it'll be on the chip. So it'll be 11 to 43. There's 1 with the roll of 54. There's 2 with the roll of 44. But Z kicks out barely at 2.5. Wow. But here we go again. And does Losum have the cheat? You bet he does. So he has an illegal blow that he gives to Z. And that's going to put him in for the finisher, the despicable chokehold, 11 to 55. Z is about on Dream Street here. He's not responding. The ref is checking his arm once. He's checking it twice. He's checking it 3 times. That is it. And the commissioner is jumping for joy here because his man, Vic Losum, just put Z out of commission. He won the match, so the commissioner doesn't have to face Z in the ring anytime soon. Let's see what's going to happen post-match. It's going to go to Highlight Reel U. Okay, so here we go. Highlight reel U, 16. Uh-oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? What is going on here? But who is this guy? Has come to the ringside who has a beef with the commissioner himself, and he's talking to the referee here, saying something about there's a foreign object or something that Losum used. The referee checks, and sure enough, he finds a foreign object. He reverses the decision, and ladies and gentlemen, Z is your winner. Z is your winner. The commissioner's beside himself, but who is this guy? Came down, said that Vic Losum pounded Z with a foreign object before putting him in that despicable chokehold. The referee found the foreign object. He's disqualified Losum. So your winner is Z. And guess what that means? Z technically wins the match. And so now he's going to have that match with the commissioner, whether the commissioner likes it or not. Z is your winner in our main event. Let's go back to the studio for a wrap-up of today's show.
And what a turn of events at the end, just when the commissioner thought he was out of the woods whenever Vic Losum scored the victory. It was discovered, thanks to who is this guy, that Vic Losum had a foreign object, and he wound up getting disqualified. So it was the man called Z who is your official winner of the match. And so as far as the Grudge Match Challenge rules go, I had some time to think about this between the time I rolled the match and now, and I thought, well, since Losum did win the match during gameplay, but technically then the decision got reversed, I just decided to up the TV grade of both wrestlers. So now Vic Losum's going to have a B TV grade. Z's going to be bumped up from a AA to a AAA. And that's how that is going to play out there. And as far as the match with the commissioner goes, well, that has been booked as well for OSWA Uprising. So add one more match to that supercard. Z against the commissioner. That's going to be part of OSWA Uprising, along with Gifter Gone. And then, of course, the world title match between Lobster Man and Steve America. Well, more matches announced for Uprising on our next show. Speaking of our next show, Sergeant Slash is going to be in action in singles competition. We're going to have a special tag team match as well. It's Roughneck Ron against the Blue Collar Mafia once again. But this time, he's bringing his friend Jerry Wayne with him. They're going to be teamed up against Kevin Linton and Mr. Everything in a tag team that should be a slobber knocker, to say the least. Croc Wilson will have another TV title defense, and his opponent this time is going to be Hank McFee. They have met in the past, but with Hank McFee's victory today over Mr. Henderson, that shoots him up in the rankings, and the commissioner is granting him a TV title shot there. Then in our main event, in our last show, the Good Old Boys won over the Big Deal. The Big Deal didn't take it too lightly, and so they attacked them. So our main event is going to be a singles match featuring one member from each team. Ray Ed Hargis from the Good Old Boys and the Big Grabowski from the Big Deal. They will meet one-on-one in our main event. And that's going to do it for this edition of Old School Wrestling from all of us here in Imagisport. This is Derek Jones saying thank you once again for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And most of all, keep on rolling. We'll see you later.